What's going on YouTube? It's the big homie, the armchair operator, and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be talking about ARs, right? Well, an AR specifically, but not just any AR. We are going to talk about this beauty right here, the Daniel Defense DDM4 V7 Pro. Now, Daniel Defense has been around for a little over 20 years now, and they have been making high quality AR parts and high quality AR rifles for a long time. So they're well established, and they're also well known by civilians, law enforcement, and military alike for the rifles that they build. So they have a pretty strong pedigree, even though they've only been in the game a little over 2 decades. Now, one of their flagship rifles, or one of their most well-known rifles, would be the DDM4 V7. And if you walked into any gun store anywhere in the US where it's legal for civilians to buy AR rifles, I'm pretty sure you've seen a Daniel Defense DDM4 V7 sitting on a wall or somewhere. So the DDM4 V7 is a 16-inch barreled AR style rifle. Now, one of the main differences between that and the DDM4 V7 Pro, which you see right here, is this is an 18-inch barrel. Now, this rifle has an 18-inch barrel, and it also has a rifle length gas system. Now, what does that mean? To keep it short and to keep it simple, essentially what that means is you're going to have an overall softer shooting gun versus, say, that of a rifle that has a mid-length gas system. And, you know, basically you're getting a bit more dwell time with the longer barrel and the longer gas system. And it also is translating to slightly less recoil that's being experienced by the shooter. Also with that, if you know anything about rifles or just basic ballistics in general, the longer barrels also mean that you're going to get a bit more velocity out of the 5.56 cartridge, which is important, especially when you're talking about terminal ballistics downrange. Simply put, a faster bullet is just going to travel. It's going to travel farther and flatter and be more accurate and put more energy on target downrange than that of, say, a bullet that's been fired from a shorter barrel rifle. Okay. Now, another difference between the DDM4 V7 Pro and the standard DDM4 V7 is arguably the trigger. Now, this gun comes with the Geisley, I think it's called the Geisley, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. It's the Geisley 3-gun trigger. I know it's going to get it out sooner or later. My apologies. So anyway, it comes with the Geisley 3-gun trigger. And in the box, it actually has 2 different springs for the trigger group itself. It has a gold spring, which is a slightly heavier, I believe it's a 4.5-pound spring. And it has the black one, which is the lighter one, is a 3.5-pound spring. And of course, I don't know if you can see it here, but you have a flat face trigger, which is pretty, standard for Geisley. Oh, by the way, my apologies. The firearm is clear. I don't know if you can see that, and the weapon is safe. It is totally unloaded. So back to what I was saying about the trigger. So this trigger, it's just like your standard Geisley trigger. It is very soft. Now, this particular gun is more so set up for like a 3-gun or competition. That's one of the reasons why it has the such a light trigger in it in the first place. And it's really short and really fun to shoot. But also, what also helps this gun to be such a flat, soft shooting gun is if you take a look right here, this is what Daniel Defense calls their muzzle climb mitigator. And essentially what this is just a fancy brake with a comp, essentially. So it just jets away some of those gases in order to keep the muzzle flatter, and helps you to keep it on target better. Now, moving on from there, this guy also has a heavier profile barrel. Now, there are advantages to having a heavier profile barrel versus a standard or a lightweight barrel. One of the advantages of having a heavier barrel is that, for one, it's not going to heat up as fast. So if you're, like for example, if you're doing a 3-gun and you're competing with this rifle, you can put more rounds down range, and actually, the barrel will absorb more of the heat before it starts to get hot. So that's actually really cool, right? The other thing about the fact that it has a heavier barrel is that it's going to help to reduce felt recoil. Now, the other thing about having a heavier barrel is that the gun itself is going to be a little bit heavier. I'm not exactly sure of the weight of this gun with all the other accoutrements that are on it. I'll get to that in a sec, but if I were to guess, I think it would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of about a little over 8 pounds. It's not too heavy, but it is noticeable if you are shouldering the rifle for a little while versus, say, that of a 16-inch standard profile barrel. So just so you're aware. Of course, you have their standard 15-inch length MFR handguard, which I really like this handguard. It's very low profile. It is very, very robust, and that's one thing Daniel Defense is known for. They're known for their very robust handguards. And, of course, you have M-LOK slots all around the sides and the bottom. And, of course, you have your customary Picatinny rail on the top. Now, the thing about higher quality ARs that I will say is that, particularly with the handguard of this particular rifle, if I were to take this cover off, and just handle the rifle, if I'm shouldering the rifle and I'm just holding the Picatinny rails, it doesn't feel like that cheese grater effect, that some of lower, I don't want to say lower quality, well, for lack of a better word, lower quality handguards, less expensive handguards. Up here could be a bit coarse and a bit rough, but with this, it's a little smooth. I like to run the actual cover up here more so, not only just to have that nicer rubberized feel, but also for additional heat mitigation. So that's the reason why I run it, but it's actually really, it's not harsh. It's not going to tear you apart. So like I said, I just wanted to put that out there. It's something that I've noticed when handling other ARs versus something like a Daniel Defense or a Geisley or whatever. Moving on from there. Now, the thing that I also like about this particular rifle is that it has an ambidextrous safety. So here's the safety right here. As you can see it on that side and you can see it on that side. It's not a 45-degree throw, but it's an ambi safety, which is good. And I like the fact that it has that extra length to it. So that way, as you're shouldering the rifle, it is very easy to manipulate this safety with either hand. So I really like that about it too. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? We have Daniel Defense's standard grip and rip charging handle. So that way you could just come across this guy like that, like it ain't nothing. Very easy, very easy. And yes, the charging handle itself is ambidextrous. So there is that. From here, you have basic standard Daniel Defense furniture. You have their style of pistol grip here. And you have their style of buttstock. I believe this is a 6 position. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, guys. I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 4-position buttstock. Okay. And of course, you have your recoil absorbing pad here. Now, the gun actually comes with 2 recoil absorbing pads out of the box. Now, speaking of the box, this is the box that it comes in. I'm pretty sure you can't see all of that on the camera, but it's a rifle, it's a long gun. This is a good box. This is actually a nice carrying case for your rifle. So thank you, Daniel Defense, for providing us such a really good carrying case with the rifle. So I just basically want to show y'all a couple things right quick. This is the recoil absorbing pad that comes installed on the gun from the factory. This is the lower profile one. The one that I have on there now is the thicker one. I prefer the thicker one because it's easier. Well, I can shoulder it better, and plus it just absorbs more of the recoil than this guy can. But to each his own on that. And this is the additional trigger spring that I was talking about. This is the 4.5 pound gold trigger spring. So if you wanted a slightly heavier trigger pull, you can install that and increase the pull weight. I think it increases the pull weight by about a pound, making it a bit closer to that of a mil-spec AR trigger. There are instructions for that in the manual. So if you wanted to do that, you can absolutely do that. Me personally, I'm sticking with the black one that's in there. Okay. Now, and of course, from the factory, it comes with Daniel Defense's proprietary standard magazines, standard AR magazines. You know, YouTube likes to get a little weird when talking about certain things. So I'm just going to say, think standard AR mags and add 2. You'll get my drift. And if you're not sure, just go to Daniel Defense's website and you'll read all about it. But I will say, I really like that mag that it does come with. It's really good. I use it all the time. Of course, it's Daniel Defense. Of course, it's going to work. Anyway, so back to the gun. Another thing is you got your bolt release right here. And if you can see that right there on the camera, the bolt release is right there. And I like this because it's a little wider than your standard AR bolt release. You know, you can really, get on that guy quickly and easily whenever you need to drop the bolt home and get the gun back in the battery. So that's really cool. And then of course you have your standard, AR style accoutrement, blast deflector, forward assist, and so on and so forth. So just to deviate a little bit here, granted, yes, the review is about the rifle, but I do want to talk a little bit about my setup because I would not be surprised if some people were curious. So starting with first disclaimer, the gun comes without any sights. So let me just say that right now. You'll have to buy your own sights and add them, just like the vast majority of AR rifles out there on the market. Now, with that out of the way, let's start from the front. So we just have some standard M-bus flip-up sights by Magpul. You have these guys here. So originally, I've had this is the front sight, this is the rear sight. Originally, I had the rear sight back here, but when I installed my magnifier, and since I do not currently own the 45-degree offsets, I just kind of ran the sights a little forward. I mean, they're zero fine and they work. It might be a bit of an unorthodox location, but they work fine just for me. The whole thing of it is too about these flip-up sights, these are just backups. My primary is what you see right here. So this is an EOTech 512. Is their, I would say, the entry-level EOTech holographic. Let me put this up here so that you can see it. This is just their entry-level EOTech holographic. And I don't know if this will show up on the camera. Probably not. But you do have your donut of death. Might not be coming up on the camera very well. But you get the idea. It's an EOTech. I really like EOTechs. They're very robust, and of course they have unlimited eye relief, and they're also parallax free. Now, what do I mean by eye relief? So essentially when you're talking about eye relief, is how far away can your eye be from the optic in order for you to really see through the optic. A lot of times, especially when you're talking about magnifying optics, prism-based optics, LPVOs, HPVOs, whatever, you'll have that what they call scope shadow. And if you're not familiar with scope shadow, it's essentially what it is as you're looking through the optics, like part of it will be dark. So you won't have a clear picture as you're looking through that tube. So That's what they mean by scope shadow. So when you're talking about eye relief, if you have an optic that has a relatively short eye relief, that means that your eye has to be relatively close to the optic in order for you to really see through the optic. The great thing about a holographic, or even a red dot for that matter, is that you don't have to worry about that. You have unlimited eye relief. Now, what I like about the EOTech is, other than the fact that, let's just be honest, this thing is hot, period. Like this EOTechs are nice. I just like the look of it. I really do. Plus you got this thick aluminum hood. They're very robust. If you're familiar with the Classic Firearms channel, the guys over there, Clint, shout out to Magdump Morgan. They did a torture test on the EOTech one time. It literally dropped a slab of, I think it was concrete or steel or something. Like they purposely destroyed this thing, not this thing, but the version that they had, and it still kept working. The glass was shattered and everything, and it kept on working. So that was one of the selling points for me to get an EOTech. Now, this particular one takes the AA batteries, hence reason why this front piece is so long. You know, the AA batteries go down in there. The advantage to that is AA batteries are a dime a dozen, right? You can go to any store, just about big box store, drug store, corner store, whatever, and find AA batteries. So in a WRLL, well, you know what I mean, in a crap hits the fan scenario, if you need to source new batteries for your optic, chances are you'll be able to find some batteries for this thing. So that's also another reason why I wanted to go with this particular EOTech. The downside of that is, as you can see, it takes up a lot of real estate. It does. So it's not so much of a big deal because where I have it mounted on the gun, but it's bulky, right? And also it does add some weight to it. So that's just something to keep in mind. But anyway, this is also the non-night vision version, in case you might be wondering, but it also has the auto off feature. So if you're not familiar with EOTechs, they have two settings as far as the auto off. They have the 4-hour and they have the 8-hour. So when you turn on the EOTech, if you hit the down button, it'll turn it on, but if you don't touch the optic within 4 hours, it'll automatically shut off, right? For the 8-hour, you would just hit the up button to turn the optic on, and it'll automatically shut off after 8 hours. And that's provided if you don't touch any of the buttons. So let me just say that. Now, in order to turn the optic off, you know, before that, you would just push the up and the down button simultaneously, and it'll turn the optic off, you know. The other downside to an EOTech is that the battery life is relatively short. I believe this particular model has a 600-hour battery life, if I'm not mistaken. But again, you can get AA batteries. You can source AA batteries for days, and you know, just keep some AA batteries handy. You know, just check your optics. I check mine religiously, to be perfectly honest with you. So, you know, I stay on top of that. But again, you know, finding batteries for this thing will be relatively easy. So we're gonna move on from there. This magnifier here is actually the Sig Sauer Juliet 3 micro magnifier. So originally when I bought the MSR Romeo and the Juliet 3 together as a combo, and I had that red dot on here with the magnifier originally, but I decided to put the red dot on a different rifle and just run with the EOTech on this plus this magnifier, and it's been really good for me. This setup has been really good for me. You know, of course, with any magnifier, this particular magnifier especially, it has a relatively short eye relief, so there is that. But you know, I can deal with that. That's not a big deal. And then plus, like you hear, this is the device right here that flips it out of the way. So you just push it in, rotate it, closes it, push it again, flip it out of the way, and you're good to go. They do make riser mounts for the magnifier, but because my EOTech is mounted directly onto the upper Picatinny rail, there's no need for me to even put the riser on here. So that's why I didn't even bother with that. But that is an option. Also, EOTech makes their own magnifiers, and I hear they're really good. I want to get one, but they're kind of expensive. So eventually I will get one. and, you know, see what that's hitting for. But for right now, this suits my purposes fine. And if for whatever reason, if this magnifier were to have a problem, all I need to do is just unscrew that, take it off, and get it out of the way. So it's not a big deal. But I mean, anywho, that's pretty much it as far as how I have this gun set up. The thing about me and rifles is that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, is that my setups kind of change and they evolve. So the way this particular setup is now, I'm almost positive it'll look somewhat different a year from now. I think that's pretty much the same for everybody. So, but that's the great thing about ARs in general, is that you could kind of customize it, kit it out, fit it out however you want, depending on the situation. So just to give you a general idea of this is more so, this is not really set up for a distance application, although I couldn't shoot out to distance, hence, and I wanted that ability, hence the reason why I added the magnifier. But that's not really the idea behind this setup. You know, I'm not really looking to shoot 500, 600, 700 yards, although this gun is very capable of doing that, especially with the 18-inch barrel. So if you wanted to set yours up with, you know what I mean, like a LPVO or something similar, and if you wanted to touch something out to 700, 800, about 600, 700 yards or something like that, you very well can with this gun, I'm telling you. But I mean, that's pretty much it for the most part as far as that. So why don't we talk about how this gun has handled for me on the range so far? So I've had the gun for a few, I would say about maybe 7 months, maybe close to 8 months now. And honestly, I haven't been tracking my round counts with this gun, but I can tell you I've put several hundred rounds through the gun since I've had it. One of the things about this DDM4 V7 Pro is that it is really fun to shoot. It really is. Between the Geisley and actually, yeah, between the Geisley trigger here, you know, the 18-inch heavy barrel, the muzzle climb mitigator, like you can really stack rounds on top of each other just for fun, you know, and that's pretty much what I've been doing, you know, is going on the range, having fun with it, you know, and it's just this trigger. Oh my God, this trigger. First, let me just ghost this trigger real quick. Let me just show you. So again, rifle is clear, but check this out, y'all. Oh, wait a minute, you can't see it. This is a bit unorthodox, so I just want you to see it. So we go here with it. Look at that. You see how short that was? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. And that's the reset. That's crazy. That's crazy. But anyway, as I was saying, for the most part, I've been putting some 5.56 X-Tac, basic PMC bronze 223, you know, good quality ammo. I've actually ran steel case through this. I have ran some steel case through this. I believe it was Tula, and it ate everything that I've put through this gun. I mean, this gun it's a beast. It's a machine. Now, the thing about ARs, of course, if you're not familiar, ARs, you got to keep them clean, you know. I will say, you don't have to be over the top with cleaning your guns, but you really should clean your guns, right? And I haven't, it's been about a few hundred rounds since I've thoroughly cleaned this rifle. I cleaned this rifle maybe the day that I got it. I always have a habit of, especially long guns, I have a habit of cleaning them at least a little bit when I first get it. But that was the last time I've done a deep cleaning of this gun. So I'm actually trying to wait until I hit the 1,000 round mark. I haven't had any problems, any bobbles, any issues or anything like that. And it just runs. You know, what you see on the outside is basically just like the coating for the finish, because it's been sitting in my safe for a little while. And I will admit, I know I need to run this a little bit more. So, and I absolutely will. I'm looking to get a case of ammo soon and get back to the range and really train with this guy. But I mean, it's just fun, man. It's fun, it's reliable, it's a workhorse. If you're looking for something for a 3-gun match, between, like I said, between this Geisley trigger and just the way this thing is set up, this is the perfect setup for that. So, I mean, yeah, that's basically that. So I know the video is getting a little bit long now, so let me just wrap things up for y'all, and I'm gonna turn you loose. All right, so in closing, y'all, do I really have to say it? I freaking love this thing. Daniel Defense DDM4 V7 Pro. I love this thing. It has been reliable. It is fun to shoot. It's just a great rifle. You know, it's a high quality rifle from a high quality manufacturer. It's built to last, and it's going to run. You know, it's just going to run. I'm not intentionally trying to gush and, you know, just to play it up, just to make it seem like, you know, oh, I'm a Daniel Defense fanboy or anything like that. I'm gonna give you an honest review. And for me, this gun has been a horse so far. Now, again, you know, I don't think I hit the 1,000-round mark with this gun just yet, but I'm pretty close, I would say. Like I said, I really haven't been checking my round counts, if I'm honest. But I will tell you this, I don't anticipate any problems with this gun when it hits 1,000 rounds, so on and so forth. So, like I said, this thing it's built to last, and it shows. You know, this would make a great long defense gun, a long defense type of platform. If you wanted to set it up for long distance shooting, you could do that. If you want to run it for 3-gun, you can do that. If you want it to be a home defense rifle, you could do that too. I mean, honestly, CQB, listen, if Marines can perform CQB with 20-inch M16s, you can do CQB with this thing right here. So if you want to, you can do that. It is a bit long, and of course it's a bit unwieldy compared to, say, something like a Mark 18 or something like that. But I mean, like I said, if you wanted to use it for that, you could. It has a lot of great features. As far as the MSRP goes, I think these MSRP for like maybe about 19 and some change. I was fortunate enough to get this rifle significantly less than that. Because I got it from a gun show, and I got a really good deal on it. But generally speaking, I think they average like between maybe 17 and 19, depending on your area, depending on the condition, basically talking about new. But it's definitely worth the money. I will say that this rifle is worth the money. You know, there are some lower cost ARs that you could kind of get into if you're just starting out, right? You know, if you're just looking for like a home defense rifle, you don't have to necessarily go full on Daniel Defense. You know, I mean, there are some lower cost options out there. However, if you're looking for something that's from a quality manufacturer, that's built with quality parts, that, you know, a company that's going to back your product, back the warranty and everything, and from a company that's known for supplying, you know, arms for the troops, for our law enforcement community, and so on and so forth, then you need to stop playing and get yourself into a Daniel Defense. All right. So anyway, guys, I want to wrap it up here. You know, again, if you like the video, please let me know, hit that like button, you know drop a comment in the comments section, you know, tell me what you think. Do you have a Daniel Defense? Are you looking to get a Daniel Defense? What's been your experience with Daniel Defense or with ARs? Or if you just want to shoot the ish, holla at your big homie, man. You know what I mean? Let's get this discussion popping. All right, y'all. So listen, again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my new subscribers for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it, guys. You know what I mean? I'm hoping I'm bringing you some worthwhile content, you know, bringing you some value with these videos. You're going to hear me say that a lot. But again, that's kind of the whole point of why I'm doing this. I'm hoping to bring you guys some value. So, but anyway, that's where it ends. Thank you so much for watching. And this is the Armchair Operator signing off.